Good morning, everybody. I am super excited to have Jim with Ethos Digital Marketing joining me today. For those of you who don't know, Jim is my oldest son and runs a digital marketing and reputation management company. I brought Jim on this year to really help me with my social media and my reviews. He has done amazing work. Jim, I just would like you to brag a little bit. How many reviews did you get me in such a short time?
I think it was like 12 or 13 within 2 weeks, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
we got 12 or 13 5-star reviews on Google, which is fantastic to actually be able to get reviews from people. Jim has a technique and an ability to get those from past clients and people that I'm currently working with. So I brought Jim on today to kind of help kind of as real estate agents, it's really difficult because everybody wants some of our money and everybody's trying to, here's the new coolest thing and here's this and here's that. And everybody wants to take a little bit of our money. What it comes down to is making sure that we're honing in on the things that actually are going to help produce positive reviews and get us in front of our clients and keep us front and center in their mind. And I also thought for a lot of my business owner friends that this would be super beneficial because not only do I use it for my real estate business, I believe Jim's working with quite a few different vendors now, roofer and acupuncturist. So I thought today this might be beneficial for a lot of different people. So, Jim, I'm going to turn the reins over to you and just have you kind of share with us how you run your business and how you help scatterbrained business owners like myself actually get things done. So,
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I think it's a really good point that you make about kind of being scatterbrained or not really being sure what exactly we need to pursue as business owners. I think with the internet, there's a lot of pros and cons to it, a lot of information, but with that information comes a lot of feeling confused or not sure exactly what we need to pursue. And especially as business owners, there's so many different strategies out there. We're told you need to pursue this strategy, and then there's AI, and then there's YouTube, and then there's webinars. And so we hear all of these different things and we go, okay, well, what do I need to do? And then the majority of the time we just say, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do any of it. And that's not
yes,
the right answer.
absolutely.
That's not the right answer. Or we shove our head in the sand and hope that one day the internet will just disappear and it'll go back to the good old days and we can go back to how things used to be. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And so, as business owners, we need to figure out, okay, this is how the world is now. I need to adapt to it, and I need a strategy that I can implement that's simple to follow and is actually going to get results, and I'm not just going to be throwing money down the drain. And I think as business owners, that's what we all want. Today, I have a quick little presentation for you guys. It's kind of my framework and how I really think about marketing. Obviously, for each business, it's going to be different. Certain things are going to apply, certain things aren't going to apply. But I feel like this framework is really good just in general for every business to follow. And then as you get more data, as you kind of figure out what works in your business, you can really dive deep into those certain areas. So, like I mentioned earlier, this is my three pillar framework. I call it of local digital marketing. I mainly work with small local businesses. And so that's really who I try to target my content towards and really help them amplify their marketing efforts in a 50 to 100-mile radius. So, my three pillars are SEO, social media, and paid ads. These, like I said, are really practical and simple strategies that I feel like the majority of us can implement, especially with the right tools. Why does digital marketing matter? In a lot of the businesses I work with, especially the older generation, it's kind of one of those things where it's, do I really need to do this? I'd much rather prefer to kind of just do it how I've always done it. But why does it matter? I read a statistic the other day that 81% of consumer research is done online before they decide to make a buying decision. And we all know that's the truth. Whenever you look up a company or whenever you go to a restaurant, you're going to look at the reviews online. And that's where SEO, paid ads, and social media really benefit you. Because if you're not on that front page of Google, you're typically not going to be found. And so that's really where my work comes in and where I try to target people is getting on that front page of Google That's where you're going to get a lot of the benefits of being online and being on Google. And as smaller businesses, we don't have huge budgets. We have typically pretty tight budgets. And so we really need to figure out how can we use as much of that budget and get us the most amount of results as possible. And it's really going to help you stand out online. When people know you personally, do a Google search for you, and you're number one on Google, that's going to amplify your brand and really make you stand out among competitors. So, like I mentioned earlier, this is my three-pillar framework of digital marketing. Starts with local SEO, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. It moves into social media, and then we take the data and analytics we get from both of those two campaigns, and we start running paid ads in a local area to target the people who are interested in what you have to offer. So, my first pillar is SEO. I feel like a lot of us have maybe done a little bit of research on SEO. We like the idea of getting organic flow and organic leads into our business. We maybe watch one or two videos and go, okay, this is way too complicated. So, what exactly is it? SEO, it stands for search engine optimization. And typically it means getting your business high ranked on Google, maybe Bing, maybe Yahoo, but typically Google just because it's the number one search engine. It means getting you as high ranked as possible on that search engine. Whenever somebody does, for example, best HVAC services near me or local landscaper, if you meet Google's criteria and their algorithm deems that you are a good business, they're going to put you high rank on Google. And typically, most of us, at least me, for example, when I do a search, I'll typically scroll down a little bit. If it has a good amount of reviews, I'll pick that business, I'll call them up, or I'll go into that business, whatever their establishment is. And so today I want to talk about the simple aspects of it and something that you can do within an hour of work. The first part of this process is the Google Business Profile Optimization. Especially for local businesses, this is important, especially if you're a landscaper, if you're a hair salon, if you're an acupuncturist. When somebody does a search for those businesses in their local area, if you have, for example, a lot of five-star reviews, if people are rating you highly, if you have certain keywords on your website, you're going to rank highly on Google and they're going to recommend your business to potential customers. So you can see here, there's a couple key tactics for SEO success. Like I mentioned, Google Business Profile Optimization, local keywords. So on the main page of your website, if you're a local landscaper, you'd want to say landscaper in Denver or best landscaper in Denver, and that's going to help Google rank you higher. Another thing people tend to overlook is consistency across all platforms, making sure your phone number is the same, making sure your name, address, email address, and overall brand is consistent throughout all of your content and across all of your platforms.
One of the things I remember you telling me was to make sure that my headshot was the same on every
Mhm,
platform because
mhm.
I had different headshots at different like platforms. And
Yeah.
so I changed them all to the same one.
And that's a great point. It's about brand familiarity. So when somebody does a search, a simple headshot really can make the difference. Humans process images faster. So that's the perfect example of, oh, that's Beth. And so you don't even really have to read what the website is about. You go, oh, that's Beth. I know her. I like her and I want to do business with her.
Yeah.
And that ties into the second part of SEO, which is reputation management. This is, in my opinion, the biggest part of local SEO and reputation management. The biggest ranking factor for local SEO, especially with service based businesses, is the amount of reviews you have and how long you've been in business. And so, what my company does is we really focus on how can we implement a system to where we can go back to past customers and say, hey, I'm doing a review management campaign, or hey, I really appreciate you being a customer with me. Would you mind leaving me a 5-star review? And just a simple act of asking get you a lot more 5-star reviews than you really would think. So you can see here, these are a couple of the benefits of managing your reviews and making sure you're getting as many 5-star reviews as possible. It helps you rank higher on Google. More positive reviews, it's going to increase the trust factor with Google and potential customers. Responding to reviews is especially important, especially negative reviews. A lot of times, if customers feel like they're heard, then they may even review a negative review. So just make sure you have a system in place to respond to reviews, especially the negative ones, is going to help you greatly. And it just overall shows your customers that you care about them and you're reliable, and it's going to increase the trust factor going forward. So any questions around this so far or what the process looks like?
No,
Okay.
because I've been through this process with you. So it's been,
Exactly.
I mean, it's actually
Exactly.
been quite, I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways painless for me. I
Mhm.
think it's probably been pretty painful for you because you're having to track me down a lot to get me to do things. But I mean, I have found asking for the reviews directly has been very seamless and pretty
Mhm.
simple actually.
Yeah, and it's a great point. It's one of the benefits of our system is it's really versatile and you can customize it to what you want. So you can have it completely manual. I know some people, and I can appreciate this perspective. They want to be very personal with their customers, and so they ask them directly. And some people want everything automated. They're more focused on scaling and efficiency. For example, we kind of did a hybrid approach where some of it is automated, some of it is manual, and that's worked really well for her. For me, for example, all of it is automated. And that helps me with efficiency. That way, if I miss a review, especially a negative review, I get notified and I have systems in place that are going to handle that automatically.
It's
So
great.
now we'll move on to the next pillar, which is social media. So after you take care of your SEO, you kind of get a presence established on Google, Yahoo, Bing, then you're going to move into organic social content. So it's really your public face. It's, hey, this is who I am. This is what my business is. And the personal brand is growing and becoming more prevalent than ever before. And so building up your presence, building up your reputation for you and your business on social media is more important now than ever. If somebody's seeing you on a day-to-day basis, they start to learn, oh, okay, I like this person. And this is what social media helps with. You can be in front of thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of potential customers every single day. And all it takes is just the time and the effort to learn it. And once you do that, it's free advertising. I know being on camera, a lot of us are uncomfortable. I make YouTube videos every week and I'm still uncomfortable being on camera. But I think it's important to overcome that fear and realize that this is how things are done now. We need to start to adapt to how things are instead of how we want them to be. So if you're uncomfortable on camera, just start posting consistently, maybe some text, maybe some pictures. As you get more comfortable, you can really expand and branch out to where maybe you start doing podcasts, maybe you start doing short form video content. But it's really about establishing yourself as an authority and expert in the space. You could have all the knowledge, all the expertise, all the experience, but if people don't know you exist and you don't advertise it all, they're going to go with the competitor. So I think as business owners, we have a responsibility to put ourselves out there and take care of potential customers. One of the biggest things I get asked when people start to pursue the social media route is, okay, well, what do I post? You see a million different things. Do I have to dance on TikTok? I get asked that all the time. And no, you don't have to do that. You can really tailor it to you. And I think that's one of the beauties of social media. Be yourself. And that authenticity comes through in your content. And I think it actually helps you in the long run. So here's a couple of different content that you can post to get you started. So showcase your work. If you're a roofer, show before and afters. If you're a landscaper, show before and afters. If you're a hairstylist, show before and afters. Take people through the process of what it looks like when you come into our business. This is what it looks like to be a customer. And so it helps people feel like they know you and they can trust your business long before they come into your actual business. Another one that ties into what I mentioned earlier is educate and entertain. I think this is a really big one because it helps you show people, like, hey, this is my personality, this is who I am. And then it also helps place you as that expert and helps you build your authority in that space. And so when they meet you or when they call you, you've already gained their trust and you don't really have to do too much of that work that you would initially have to do without being on social media. Another big thing that kind of ties into the entertain is engaging with your audience. So you could do simple Q&A sessions, posts about a potential meetup, hey, come have coffee with me, hey, come to this event, hey, come to this charity event with me. And so again, it helps you connect with your audience. It makes people feel like they know you even if they've never met you.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that a lot of people miss, this is something that you're really good about, is leveraging community groups, especially on Facebook. In the beginning, you can join a couple community groups, make 1 to 2 organic posts, but even just engaging in those community groups, whether it's a mom's group, a dad's group, athletes group, whatever you want, you know, and making people not feel like you're selling them makes it a lot easier for people to like you. And then you can say, this is my business. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. If you can build that trust factor, it's going to help your business in the long run.
Yeah.
So the next and last pillar is paid ads. So like I mentioned in the beginning, my business, our strategy is really to take what we've learned from who your ideal customer is through SEO and social media. Then we take content that's already working on those platforms and we start to run paid ads. In the beginning, we start with small budgets. And then from there, we test, we refine, and then we start to scale up over a 3-month period. And I think when you take this approach of testing, and refining, it eliminates the phase that I think a lot of us have gone through with meta ads, for example, where we toss 400 or 500 bucks behind it, don't get many results, and we say meta ads don't work. They
Yeah.
work, but it just takes a lot of data and a lot of testing to put behind that. And so if you can do that testing through organic content or through SEO, it's going to reduce the amount of time it takes for your paid ads to work. And it's also going to reduce the amount of money you have to put behind those paid ads. Once you know it works, you just scale it up and go from there. So I kind of already explained the strategy a little bit behind it, but I feel like a lot of us know what paid ads are, but I don't think we fully appreciate their importance, especially for local markets. You can target a certain mile radius. You can target certain interests. You can target certain demographics. And I feel like that's a big part of what we miss with paid ads. The main two platforms I focus on for paid ads are Google and Facebook and Instagram. And we combine both of those to really have a all-in-one paid ad strategy. For example, uh, local landscaper and a local plumber, Google ads are probably going to work better for them. Maybe a hairstylist or electrolysis company. I typically find that ads work better. And so it's really about taking the data we've learned from your SEO and from your social media and figuring out, okay, how do we build you a strategy that's going to get you the best result possible? And from that data we've gathered through social media, we do what's called a retargeting campaign. So we take all your potential customers. If you already have a lead list, we take that data in as well. And then we start to target the people who are already interested in what you have to offer. For example, let's say we go to a website, we have a full intent of purchasing something, and then our daughter comes and yells at us, or we get a phone call and we just forget to make that purchase. And so, what we can do through tools like a metapixel, we can take that data and retarget that customer specifically. And we can run an ad that says, hey, remember us? You were thinking about purchasing through us. And so that really helps move people through the funnel that may have had the intent of purchasing, but may have just moved on to the next step in the process. One of the biggest benefits I feel like with this strategy is it's really budget friendly. We're not just taking your business and throwing a bunch of ad money behind it. I really try to focus on keeping the ad budget small in the beginning. And then once we find out what's working, you scale up from there and start to get results without having to put a ton of money behind it. Now, paid ads can get a little bit more complicated. Social media is complicated as well, but I feel like paid ads are really where you need somebody in your corner and somebody who does this full time because there's so many little nuances. Um, you could have a perfect ad, but maybe just 1 or 2 lines of copy is off, and it's going to underperform drastically compared to 1 to 2 different lines of copy. So you really need somebody in your corner who's constantly refining, constantly testing, constantly feeling, okay, this is what's working in the market right now, and this is where we need to go. But here's a couple tips for you if you want to do this on your own. Having a clear call to action in your ad is essential. So call now for a free estimate, book your appointment today, click here to get your free 20% discount. Essential. So make sure you include that. A/B testing. So A/B testing, if you aren't familiar with what that is, it's just taking two different versions of the same ad or the same creative and testing different elements of it. So like I mentioned, the copy, the creative, the offer. You just test different offers, you test different creatives, and you determine which one's working better and which one's not. And then another one is tracking and optimizing. If you're not tracking your data, if you don't understand what's working, you're just going to kind of be shooting in the dark, throwing money behind empty ad campaigns, empty ad creatives. And I feel like this is where a lot of us go wrong and why some of us may feel that paid ads don't work. And so having somebody who understands it or doing the necessary work to understand how to do it correctly, it's a non-negotiable and it's essential for sure. So that is my presentation. If you guys want to follow me, maybe learn a little bit more about my business, I'll leave all of my information in the comments section below. I appreciate you watching my presentation.
So, Jim, I just had a couple of questions that I thought maybe might be beneficial for those that might have more questions. Like when
Mhm,
you and I very first started working together, I had questions. I
mhm,
felt very overwhelmed by
mhm,
trying to target different things or run ads.
mhm,
I guess first I want to start with, are there certain industries that you specialize in?
mhm,
Do you only work with real estate agents or do you kind of work with all sorts of different businesses?
mhm. I specialize in home improvement businesses, but I'm really starting to branch out and kind of take in some different customers. So like you said, I have a acupuncture clinic I'm working with now, and I have a electrolysis company I'm working with now. And so I'm kind of at a phase in my business where I want to be an all-in-one digital marketing service for local Colorado-based businesses. And so that's really where I want to focus.
Great to know. Do you provide content creation or content ideas for people? Sometimes I feel like, uh, I've got lots of ideas and things that I want to put together and stuff. It's probably the worst part about working with me. But I know that there are a lot of people who don't really have those creative kind of content ideas. Do you provide that for your clients?
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the benefits of working with us is we can take you through the entire process. So for you, for example, you're really creative and content ideas kind of come naturally to you. My job is to refine and say, okay, this would be a good idea. Maybe we can hit on this point a little bit better. Maybe we can kind of spin it in this way to make people more interested. So I work with people like you. I work with people who say, I have no idea how to work a camera. I have no idea how to look into a camera. I have no idea how to write a script. Can you help me? And so that's one of the benefits of working with us. So yeah, I definitely help people with content creation, help people with script writing. For some customers, I even come out and film content for them. I also do the editing on the backside, and I also do the media management. So the posting, the comment management, I can do all of that as well.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to share a little funny story. So,
Mhm.
um, one of my biggest fears, and truthfully, I feel like a lot of people's biggest fears is doing TikToks or Instagram or YouTube and then having people make the mean comments
Yeah.
or say mean things. And you told me way at the beginning, never read the comments, never read the comments. And then just this past week, I think a lot of people think this is really funny. So, will you share how you managed, I guess you guys call them trolls, this guy and it actually made me feel a lot better about it. You managed it for me, and I didn't have to take it personally or like get my feelings hurt. And you weren't rude or anything. I
Yeah.
do think it's a good story to share for the people who are hesitant to get into this
Yeah.
and worried about what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is, even for me, that was one of the biggest fears in content creation. And I think it's, as a human, we just kind of naturally fear rejection. And so the story that you mentioned, it was a troll. It was a We had posted a day in the life video, and it was like day one, and we didn't have any comments on the video yet. And one of the comments was like, "Who's asking? You don't have any comments." And so, I mean, I kind of found it funny, and it's a troll. People just post that stuff to get under your skin. And how I always handle that is I always thank them for their support because they are supporting us by commenting on our videos, by being engaged with us. It boosts the post and the algorithm likes it. So I always respond super positively. A lot of times, responding positively makes them more mad because they want you to be pissed off by it. So just responding positively to the comments, it makes the process a lot more funny in my opinion, and it also helps with the algorithm. So that's kind of how I handle it. And that's what I like to do for a lot of my customers, especially if they do have that fear, is don't even look at the comments. I'll respond to everything, whether it's positive or negative. If I feel like it's pertinent to your business, if it's a potential customer, I'll send it your way. But besides that, don't even read the comments. I'll take the heat for you, and you can just rest at peace and just help me produce the content. We can get your business out there.
Yeah, and I think the conversation with that guy ended up with you calling him a super fan or something, and
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was pretty funny. So,
Yeah.
I've just appreciated not really having to engage with all of that because,
Yeah.
I mean, even though these are just people I don't even know, like, why do they have to be so mean?
I think that's just natural as humans. I don't really
Yeah.
think you ever get over it. And so having somebody in your corner who can kind of at least remove that from you, it lets you focus on the important things of content creation, which is how can I help the customers who do care about me? Because it only gets worse as you grow. If you can just kind of remove that out of your mind, it helps a lot.
So my final question would be sharing again how you helped my online reviews and how you go about that with clients, not just myself, but other ones, and how you get those reviews and what
Mhm.
platforms you really focus in on helping people to get those positive reviews.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an important question. Great question. Um, so I'll explain how we did it for you, and then I'll kind of explain the more standard approach. Again, it depends on each business, depends on your industry. But for you, for example, we started out with one, getting you more present on Google. So refining your Google business profile, like you mentioned, making sure your headshots are all the same, making sure your information's all the same. And then we started posting on social media. So YouTube, Facebook, all the platforms. And so for the SEO, we ran a reputation management campaign, which was a review reactivation campaign, which it's pretty simple, only takes typically 2 to 3 weeks to really start to see results from it. Because what you're doing is reaching out to past customers. If you didn't have a system in place before, you just say, "Hey, I appreciate you being a customer in the past. Would you mind leaving us a review?" For certain industries, for real estate, for example, you can't offer this, but for other industries, you can also offer them the chance to enter for a $50 gift card because everybody wants a free $50 gift card. And so it helps you kind of get more 5-star reviews into your business. So that was step one. And then step two was the technical aspects of the SEO. So this is really kind of gets more nitty gritty, but for the most part, it kind of to keep it short, I put in certain keywords throughout the page: real estate agent, Firestone, Colorado, best real estate agent, Colorado, different things like that. And then optimized her page speed to where when somebody clicks on the website, it's going to load as fast as possible. Those are a couple different things that Google really looks for and appreciates. When you have those refined, it's going to help a lot with your Google ranking. So that takes care of the SEO. And again, this is an ongoing process. I'm constantly refining her page, constantly doing keyword research to see which keywords and phrases would help us stand out better and help us rank higher. Now, for every business, it's a little bit different, but there's definitely a couple things I do for every business. One is optimize your Google business profile. That's non-negotiable. I have some videos on my YouTube channel. I could walk you through that for free. The next step is kind of figuring out where exactly can we really target, which keywords can we target, how can we optimize the technical aspects of your website, how can we optimize the technical back end of your page speed, different things like that. And then we figure out what's a social organic strategy that works with your daily life, your daily schedule, and with whatever you're comfortable with. And then from there, we kind of just test and refine, and we move into a paid strategy if that's something that you want to do moving into the future.
Jim, I really appreciate all your time and all the work that you've done to help me with my business. And I have lots of friends now who like to give me a hard time and call me a TikTok star. So I owe that to you, I guess. So, Jim, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So you can reach out to me directly on all of my social platforms. You can reach out to me via email, and that is jim at ethos-digitalmarketing.com. But typically, social platforms are the quickest way to get a hold of me. You can also follow all my content over there. I really try to help educate people. So that's the first step I would encourage you to take is go to my social platforms, learn a little bit more about me, decide if I actually do know what I'm talking about, maybe the problem you're having or the system you want to implement is something that you could learn from free, just following my content. So I would encourage you to definitely do that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Jim. I hope you have a
Yeah.
great day.